themselves to pick later in the draft. So we'll see if that comes out. Right now, flying in this draft, Yone being banned again by Dplus to no surprise. Vi being banned here by KT again. No real surprise.
Yep. Red side ban there. The Nico banned by DK against Peter. So if they're going to save it, then you kind of have to ban it from the blue side, which makes a lot of sense. But also Nico's just pretty strong nowadays, especially if the Callista is going to slip through at any point. You got to be careful about that, as now Poppy is going to rise up to the ban list. Got totally ignored in game 1.
Yeah. There's still Talia available. There's still... I don't think Dplus would ban him, but Pantheon available, which they could lean towards. I feel like maybe Dplus could look for like a Talia first pick in this situation. They end up banning away the Sion. Jace first pick rises in priority on the back of that.
Looks like maybe BDD's preparing himself for a Talia or Azir performance here in game 2.
I feel like it feels bad because if you ban the Talia, they probably just take the Azir in the first pick.
Never mind.
And then if they take the Azir, do you just take Jace? You know? We'll see if Dplus opt to take the Azir here. I think if you don't, BDD definitely takes it himself. So they will just take it. And now, the Sion ban, does that just free up KT to take that Jace for themselves? And if the Jace is taken, then what does Shu play into the Jace?
Yeah. A lot of good questions. I think the Jace almost definitely should be taken here. Although, it's definitely a little bit lower priority than it was earlier on in the season. Still very high priority, but it does get overlooked from time to time. Thinking about the Ahri here for BDD. Not the easiest lane, but definitely Ahri and Wukong has been a duo that he and Cuz have gone to many times, but we do have Pantheon still available, so they're just going to pick that instead.
Okay, go for the Ahri Pantheon. Want to deny the Pantheon away from Lucid. And now still have the option of like a Xin Zhao in the situation, or Wukong, so there's still a lot of options for Lucid in the jungle to pick up. Probably going to see top lane secured as well. Actually looking towards the Callista. So again, Poppy and Talia were both banned away. We saw the priority of the Callista rise up when those were taken off the cards. Callista, Renata, and Azir. So this is a really strong backline. A lot of DPS, very hard to dive into. And KT already kind of opted into this Ahri Pantheon, which are shorter range, kind of have to dive forwards. Very hard to pivot your composition from here. Options like the Varus have already gone. And KT end up leaning towards the Yorick with a bit of the side lane pressure. But I feel like KT, this doesn't really feel good with the position you're in now. And also, you're kind of locked in, like you've already picked your top side. You're now going to have your bot lane sort of targeted in terms of bans. Honestly, I think maybe the play would have been to pick up like a Senna on that 3.
Yeah.
And at least you would have had like a long range option, although Senna lane might have been a little bit rough into the Callista Renata, but I'm not sure what else you can do, because certainly I think Dplus probably banned Senna away, actually going for the least ban first and foremost.
Yeah, it does feel like KT have kind of drafted themselves into a hole based on what was available in this one. Even Score looking a little bit bewildered, but probably just thinking about the next phase of the draft. No Jace in this game so far, and it's just going to be ignored again. Xin Zhao.
We'll see if it's a Senna, or if we end up seeing something like, I mean, I don't think you play Alistar into this at all. The Elisa's gone, the Nico's gone, so these are some of those range supports you can play. Karma going to come through as a ban, so really just trying to remove some of those range support options to really free up Renata.
Time for the Janna.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, no, there's been a lot of bans targeted, and Peter is going to have to play something interesting or just elect to lose lane.
Not too many options you can pick that are going to win lane into Callista Renata. Especially with the range supports, all of the popular ones taken away. They are going to go the Rakan Definitely a Weather the Storm option, which doesn't feel good, but it does mean you have that extra engage you can layer with like the Ahri Pantheon. But you are kind of fully committed to like, okay, we kind of have to dive, so let's fully commit to it. If it's going to be a Xayah, though, I think Xayah feels terrible here.
Yeah.
Sejuani Jack's going to come through, and Dplus's draft just kind of feels like a very LCK draft. Very much feels like a lot of picks that kind of, you know, we've seen these picks in the LCK meta so many times. Can't really feel sad about any of them. Meshes together pretty well, and it does look like it's going to be the Xayah. Not feeling too positive about this. Yeah, I think Dplus pretty happy with how things have panned out. I will say the Jax doesn't feel too great into the Yorick, even though obviously Yorick is a lot about his shovel and he can block that auto attack. We've seen a lot of lane matchups go in favor of the Yorick, and later on it's a bit of a pain playing that matchup. But like Sejuani Jax is such a strong combo. You kind of in the team fights, you have these backline DPS, you have the Renata that's so powerful. And I think you just get outranged so hard as KT. The Xayah has to kind of move forward to connect on someone who she really cares about. And she's dealing with like so many threats, so many things that can CC her. I don't know, I think Dplus got exactly what they wanted.
Yeah, it does feel like in the battle of these two teams, the drafts can sometimes look a little bit wonky as well. And I feel like, you know, we were happy with KT's draft from the blue side as well. So this says, getting married in 7 days. And this is the best choice for this weekend. Not going to be in Busan, I'd imagine. Maybe preparing for that potential.
Did he get married in Busan? No, probably not. Unless?
At the LCK? Weather's getting hotter here. The summer of KT. Does it begin here? Are they the ones that make the gauntlet run? Maybe, but not sure about this draft. Definitely an interesting one. Some strong pieces, some synergies. We'll see if they can use it here in game number 2. All right, game number 2. And as you guys saw in the space and also at the top of the show, there were no predictions for 3-0s. And I fully expect that to remain, or, well, the Preds can't be changed, but I expect the series to not go to a 3-0. So I would imagine that DK at some point should be able to pick up at least one win. And this game feels like they've put themselves in one of the best positions to do so. I say that as Peter's going to get a double knock up here, and already, with BDD coming on over and helping, going to make this lane just a little bit easier.
Yeah, honestly, it's a good move. I like when teams go, especially when you have like losing lane matchups, you go for like an early level 1 to try and find an advantage. I will say it was pretty non-committal. BDD didn't go Charm, they didn't bring Cousin, right? Well, like he moved off early, so it's a bit of damage, but not much more. But this sort of thing can really shake up the level 1 matchup, where normally the Kalista Renata is absolutely winning. A little bit of chunk can go a long way to shake things and move them in favor of KT.
Yeah. Importantly, though, who's Cousin? You said they didn't bring Cousin.
Their cousin.
They didn't bring their cousin?
Yeah, they're like, hey, cousin.
Does he play League of Legends as well?
Yeah, their cousin plays League of Legends. They wanted to bring him in. You never called your cousin up and said, hey...
I have, actually.
Do you want to go bowling?
Not for bowling, I don't think.
Not for bowling?
Yeah. He also doesn't live in Korea, so...
Oh.
Not something I can do very often, to say the least. Level 2 still hit here by aiming and barrel. And this lane is still going to be a nightmare for Duckdom and Peter. BDD not going to hit his Q. This lane is already pretty difficult for the Ahri.
Q doing pretty good in top matchup so far. But we've definitely seen this matchup get a lot rougher, especially after 6. I feel like the Maiden is just... That's the thing with like so many champions in the top lane. We've seen like Cassante, Jax, Aatrox. It's like you get your ultimate, and sometimes you see them scrap and they force each other's ultimates, and you get this really heavy trade, and then they back off, and like they're both wounded. Whereas the thing that really shakes it up with Yorick is like your ult's just always up. And it's like, do you want to commit your ult to try and like have a good trade, but then you don't have it anymore? It feels really bad, whereas Yorick is just like always wailing away on you.
Unless they kill the maiden, of course.
And then he just gets it back again a little bit later.
A little bit later. Small window.
Did he get the cannon? I don't think he did.
We didn't have a zoom in from Jonah Strong that I could tell.
He tried to get it with the blade call. I'm not sure he did. It was, I don't know. I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna pretend he did.
Yeah, he did.
He did.
Yeah, for sure.
He did. I feel better than that. I feel better now.
Yeah. Shu's still here. Now he doesn't have his Counter-Strike for the next shovel, as that's the goalie wall to come down as well. Shu not taking the best trade.
Yeah, this is this is how we've seen the matchup start to go somewhat when the ghouls start to ramp up, and it stops being a 1v1. You know, when you have the 4 ghouls beating up on them. So at least there's that matchup in favor of KT. But bot lane not going too hot. 10 CS disadvantage already, and all of those minions for Knockdown to pick up. Just not having so much fun right now.
Yeah. One thing you can say, you know, you've seen a lot of games in the regular season of LCK where a team will have a big draft advantage with a lot of winning lanes, and they'll use it very well with like a Poppy to invade, or they're getting all the objectives, stuff like that. Sejuani not really going to be doing a lot of that, as Shu is really having trouble with this ghoulie wall. Keeps on going in. And now we got Cuz here, and he's got Flash, and that's a very low Shu. And
Seconds on Counter-Strike.
Yeah. So he's going to have that. But already, fades it out, and now he's just Omega dead. Yep, nowhere for him to go. And it's first blood over to the Pantheon. Cuz excellently set up with Perfect.
Yeah, Perfect calls his cousin in to help with that one.
Yeah.
And
Little heal. As Aiming finishes his back, he's like, good luck, buddy. Beryl also
there.
heals, and he gets away.
Honestly, I think Beryl would have probably flamed him if he cancelled the back.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm fine. Beryl honestly would have, even if Beryl died, he probably would have flamed him, you know?
Is Beryl, what did he mean by this? I don't know.
As I said, even if Beryl had died, he probably would have flamed him. He's like, it's tempo.
Baiting him in?
Tempo over everything, okay? Right? You just don't. This is just Beryl showing his understanding of the game, right?
한번 더 막아볼게. 본다. 기다려봐.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as he counter strikes, he's so dead. And getting the kill, getting the pressure for the Yorick, huge advantage, and that's really the lane that KT wants to get a lead on. You know, we've sometimes talked about how side lane pressure can't always win games recently. You know, how it used to be like you could just win the game from split pushing. I don't know about you, Brendan. I feel like maybe you can win the game from split pushing. Maybe you can just stick someone in a side lane and they could just end the game. What do you feel? Do you think we've seen that recently?
We do have some evidence.
Yeah, some evidence that maybe you can...
Very recently.
Yeah, maybe that works against Dplus. If you just get someone strong enough to stick them in the side lane, they can just kill the Nexus.
Yeah.
My intuition tells me that might be successful.
Especially if it's a Ryze who's 5,000 gold ahead of his opponent.
Yeah.
Who's a Galio and grouping. Now, okay, that was very close.
That was tense.
Showmaker's already, for some reason, not really doing very well in this one. He got hit by the charm of BDD. Little ghoulie wall, but Kalista doesn't really care about that.
The Maiden does.
You think the Maiden cares about the ghoulie wall?
Yeah. She cares. It's just stuff, you know? If you damage the ghoulie wall, she'd be a bit upset.
Yeah. Now Shu's also having to solo lane against this, so for KT, this is fine. I
mean, this is much better for KT. I mean, I know Perfect was doing well in the Shiwu, but Knockdown and Peter having a great time in this situation. No longer have to play into the Calista Renata. That was a lot of damage.
Yeah.
Oh, also, oh my god. Have you ever seen a more pitiful inventory than Doctum's right now? Scout, Slingshot, plus Cull? Oh, it's so sad. It's so... What is that gonna do? If Zaya walks up to you with that? That is... Yeah, no. I'm not intimidated at all.
Yeah, it's rough times, but at least he's not falling too far behind. The call helps him catch up a little bit.
You know what it is? The scout slingshot, it gives real pea shooter vibes.
Yeah, it does.
It just
I mean, look at it. It's a slingshot. Like, it doesn't really do anything.
just flicking boogers at people.
Yeah. Well, looks like the Grubs are going to go over here to DK. And KT will trade with the Dragon. So, no Grubs for the Yorick. But especially with Kalista Renata top, it's not like KT had much of a choice. So they're just going to take the objective that they can at this point. And for, you know, a couple of lanes that weren't very good, mid's going well for BDD. And also Duck Dom and Peter are in a lane swap. And you've got Perfect also in a great spot himself. So things are going very well here for KT in this early game, you could say, given the drafts that we saw.
Yeah, I mean, I think things go about as well as you'd expect.
Say they're in an advantage.
Better than you expect, honestly, if I'm being real.
Yeah.
Top lane going good.
All right, looking for it. Gonna miss. If that does hit, oh, he's still looking for the play. Little ult on in, but the shield comes down. Yeah. And Showmaker, oh, here comes Cuz with Nightmare. Oh. Not gonna happen. Probably should have just flashed for it, but maybe he just dies anyway if he does that.
Showmaker is struggling in mid, right? Bot lane is going rough shit, but you'd expect that. Top lane is going good. Like KT, things are looking pretty positive. I'd say, you know, things could be going a lot worse. Still a little bit concerned about team fights for them, if I'm being honest. Still a little bit concerned about that, but all in all, you know, it's a good start.
Yeah, it definitely is. We'll see if that continues. We do have Cuz here. No ult, but he's got flash. Perfect. A bit tanky, but can Cuz get here on time? Perfect gonna try to flash on in as now Cuz gets here. And the phase call does come down as Beryl throws himself in. Bit of extra damage goes in on the Cuz, but not gonna stick around for a second dive. Nice dive here from DK.
Look, some dives are easy, some dives are hard. Diving with Kalista, Renata, Sejuani, that is like the easiest dive possible with bailout and Kalista ult.
Well, the hostile takeover isn't going to hit anything. They're still going for the dive as Beryl's tanking this one up because it takes a long time to be taken out, but they still get it done. So 2 kills over to Dplus Kia.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't even end up using the bailout there. So Cuz just ends up dying as well, trying to cover for his top laner and able to tank a lot of tower hits there. Well played from Dplus, punishing in that situation. Now, KT will get a plate here, but not really feeling the best about how things have panned out on the top side.
All right. Bit of an engage, but she would just take a little bit of damage, and we see Kalista Renata coming up here.
I think this is the problem, is that if you'd played towards bot as Cuz, you could have killed Shiwu, right, on the tower. Instead, you're playing towards top, you don't actually stop anything from happening, and you're just giving another kill over. But you see here, like, you know, Beryl tanks it, and they reset it with the ult. And then when they go for the redive, like, they still have bailout. They still had bailout in this play. They didn't even need it. Like, the ult from Beryl missed. That's how easy this dive was.
Yeah.
And that's with low health bars, and they'd already gone for a previous dive. Like, they still had Beryl flash, they still had Lucid flash, they still had bailout. Very easy to set up those dives, but still very well played by Dplus.
Yeah. Execution was there. Easy as it was. Gets your Kalista a kill, and even your Sejuani to finish that hard steal.
Okay, Dr. Dom's recalling, please buy some. Okay, he's got Young Tao. I was just, man, that.
He has an item.
The Booga shooter is gone now.
All right, nice combo from Cuz. He gets the shield up in time. Beryl is here, so bit of damage comes in from BDD. That is going to push Dplus Kia back.
Play those wards out though. So a bit of fight over vision there. You have Dragon in a minute 20. Would be KT's second if they can secure it. I feel like aiming should have enough to pick up his first item though. Haven't seen him reset yet. He did buy tier 2 boots though, so might put him a little behind.
Yeah, maybe just needs a little bit extra. And he's trying to get that right now. Top laners fighting each other again.
That's what they do.
This is all right in the world. No more lane swaps. in my League of Legends.
I feel like it's just been cat and mouse this game, where like KT been swapping and
Showmaker
chasing them.
Yeah, that's a Rakan. That is a targeted charm, essentially. And even Cuz was here with ult and flash and everything. And look at the damage on the mid lane turret. It was only Showmaker here. Tons of plates going the way of KT here in the mid lane.
Good play. They managed to take him out. It's 20 seconds until Dragon, so Showmaker will be back up, but doesn't have TP, so we'll take a bit of time to get there. But a lot of resources committed, so it might mean they're essentially sacrificing the Dragon in favor of getting that kill, getting that gold from the plates. Perfect, going aggressive here onto Shiwu. It feels like, you know, the trade's kind of even, and then the Maiden does that last little, like, drain. Yeah. The trade goes in favor. This is kind of what I mean, you know, they committed so much resources for that kill, indicated they weren't going to go for the Dragon, they'll give that up, and instead put pressure towards that top lane. And now Perfect, he's going to be able to pick up some plates here as well. About 5 seconds left, we'll get another.
Peter's still stopping the back of Shiu right now.
Yeah,
finally he's going to get it off. It's Chemtech Soul again!
I have no excuses.
I'm not gonna name any names, but you know what you did.
Anyway. But I like the play from KT, right? The singular Dragon, when you already have one, isn't that important. They end up giving a ton of gold over to Perfect because he gets those plates. Like, Perfect is 1.2k gold ahead. You know, you got gold on the PDD, you got plates on the PDD, you got gold on the Perfect, you got plates on the Perfect. And look, 1,000 gold total from those plates. I think the play was smart, so credit to them for that. Now they do see Lucid taking this Scuttle. Will they contest? Ult about to be up from Peter.
Yeah, Lucid really wants the Scuttle Crab. Yeah. So he didn't even get it.
Yeah, that is feats of strength for KT.
I don't know about that one, Lucid.
I feel like the common theme, you know, it's just for support players, it's dying for control wards, and for junglers, it's dying for Scuttle Crabs. It's just, it's a tale as old as time.
Yeah, that was weird, but very on theme for this series, I'd say. Mid lane turret is going to go down here. KT opening up a pretty huge lead this early in the game. 15 minutes in, already 3,500 gold. And yes, he was going to get this top turret, but Perfect got the bottom one. So we're just trading there.
Yep.
KT are getting everything else.
Like, there's just massive leads across the board now. Like, think about this. Aiming has a 20 CS lead over Dokdam, and yet he's 400 gold down. And the thing is, you know, I talked about how I favored Dplus' draft massively. You know, I thought they had the lane advantages. Yeah. They have the advantages in team fights. If you just fall this far behind this early, that all goes out the window. You know, draft only matters so much when there's a massive gold lead. And KT really have that massive advantage now. Also, they have the split push win condition. And apparently the hard count is Dplus.
They don't know how to deal with that. Yeah. Also struggling to use the engage cone. Just jumping straight in the air instead.
It was a good vid though, right?
Yeah, it was nice. I didn't see him do any spins though, so I'm a little bit disappointed. As now, little engage, but Renata is going to get a lot of value. Tons of damage into Lucid though, as he is going to finally go down, as Shu does have a nice angle up there on the top side, but he's alone. And everybody's zoned away by Cuz. As Showmaker and Aiming not really able to join the fight. Cuz wants a bit more BDD as well. Gonna get the flash at a Showmaker for just his ult. Although Cuz has to get away as well. Little spinorama there from Showmaker to get out, but lots of damage done here to Dplus Kia, and KT will take this objective.
It was such a strange start to the play because it felt like it was just Dokdam flexing how much damage he could do. He was just doing so much damage, and then it turned into a play off the back of that. And the thing is, because he had done so much, there was no real way for Dplus to sort of recover from this. Like, watch, he just starts pumping numbers out. He has 2 items already, so he's getting the reset on the cooldowns. He gets the second root in as well with all those feathers. Like, Lucid's already dead off the rip, and he still has ult and flash, so even though Dokdam gets chunked out a bit, he's never under real threat. And then it's Dplus trying to turn it around, already at a massive deficit. And yeah, KT backs away, they just pick up the Herald, they're happy to make that play happen. You know, the Yuntal plus Navori combo so strong for the Xayah. And KT, 4,000 gold ahead now, have the Herald in pocket, everything going in their favor. And if I'm Dplus, I'm already 1-0 down after a tilting Game 1 loss. Looking on the worst end in this Game 2. No one predicted a 3-0.
Yeah.
We might be heading in that direction.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you see the drafts and then you see KT winning this hard from the red side, it's a telling sign for sure. Now, the game isn't over, but it just kind of feels like it's heavily weighted in one direction for now. And, you know, Chemtech Soul again, not the biggest deal, but KT have total control over the bottom side of the map, and there's no reason not to take it. So they're going to be stacking objectives and going to be feeling pretty good about that themselves. You know, the Pantheon can get value, the Yorick can get value from that Soul, even the Ahri. 13%, think about it.
Yep.
Looks like maybe Shu missed that cannon. Didn't see it, but I saw the zoom in from Jonas Strong. DK just kind of sitting back, looking for an angle. I feel like aiming feels like he's strong, which makes sense, but he's still himself down 700 gold. So not even in that great of a spot himself, even down a level here to Duck Dom. And it's a free dragon to KT.
Yeah, I feel like you're in such a rough position now. And again, all those things we talked about, like having the range advantage and in the team fights, playing in the Renata and stuff. I feel like, you know, you're now in a deficit with this Calista. You're not at that 2-item spike when the Xayah, who's a crit carry, is ahead of the curve compared to you. You know, the Azir, Showmaker just feels like such a non-factor right now. I mean, they can just kind of try and weather the storm for a bit, but the deficit's very large.
A little handshake here on a Peter, but he's got a disengage cone, so he'll get out. Xiu is here. He's not going to hit the stun. And now the follow-up comes in from Cuz, who is just giving moral support.
You know, I think
saying hello.
Lockdown's been playing so confident with his, like, summoners and his ult. Like, I feel like there's so many times I have seen AD carries who just cleanse automatically. And he gets ulted there, knows he doesn't have to cleanse, doesn't press it. And that might seem like such a minor thing, like, well, of course doesn't have to ult there. But I swear, I see so many LCK AD carries. Oh, I got CC'd, cleanse, I have to press it. I have to do it. And, like, even in the previous fight that we had around this area, like, he was pretty low, he got stunned, and he could have ulted and he didn't. Could have flashed and he didn't, he just knew he didn't need to. And I think it's making it so much harder for Dplus when the enemy AD carry doesn't just press his buttons by default, because then in the next fight he still has them, you know? And they're trying to find angles like that, and he still has all those options available to him. And especially when you have this Yorick in a side lane who's going to constantly have pressure, you want to be able to engage. Who do you engage on, right? Everyone's pretty hard to kill, pretty mobile. Doctom's the easiest option. He's not easy because he has cleanse and that ultimate available.
Yeah. You just don't have any summoner pressure. You're never really getting summoners out, and so it just makes it so hard because you are so far behind. They got this Rift Herald, and the mid lane tier 1 is already down, so they just drop it into the tier 2. They already have all the outer turrets. They're just that far ahead in terms of structures. Aiming's doing a good job of CSing, but nobody else really is. It does feel like, you know, the takeaway of the Azir makes sense, especially with the Taliyah ban. But Showmaker really hasn't done anything, as you mentioned. He's been kind of a non-factor in this game so far, and we haven't had any really big team fights, but he fell behind to the Ahri. BDD is obviously outplaying him so far in this series, and that's a problem in a best of 5. If Showmaker's not going to match BDD's level, you could definitely see DK fall even further behind.
Yeah, and Perfect just completed a Sojin, who's already having an advantage over Q in the side lane, but with that in pocket as well. Lockdown might just face check. Walk
it was
away.
the fake face check.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm going to face check and maybe try to bait something out.
You can see Dplus just keep fishing for these opportunities. Not finding anything feels really bad. And KT are happy just to play this one patient.
Yeah, no rush. Just hanging out, stacking Drakes.
Do you have Dragon up 2 minutes? Arakan is already up. Some pings coming out for the Arakan. I think KT can lean towards it, because ideally you don't want them both up at the same time, because then, you know, maybe it ends up being a trade. I think you can set up for the Arakan, especially because Arakan's like, it's a deeper objective than, like, you know, the Baron or the Dragon, which are a little bit more central. You can definitely drag Dplus really far towards it. Okay, forget what I was saying earlier.
I mean, he doesn't have full vision, but, like, yeah.
Forget what I was saying.
It was an insta-cleanse that time around.
He's still an LCK AD carry.
Yeah, I mean, in that scenario, he's pretty deep, and he doesn't know what's on the other side, and he just wants to play it safe.
Maybe don't be that, you know? Maybe don't be in that position. But anyway, well, Cleanse now down for Dr. So that's a big cooldown unavailable.
Oh, flash on him. Perfect, in a bit of trouble. He's going to try to flash away. Maiden is doing a bit of damage. The ghouls as well. No counter-strike for now, but he gets it back and just bops him on the head. Xiu's got TP as well. They're just going to start this one up.
Lucid has a Mega Cone, but he's already half HP. This feels so bad. You got a solo kill, and you lose Atakan for it.
It's just gone. It just disappeared.
Was it ever even there?
They never even tried to play for it.
Yeah. Well, that feels really bad, because that solo kill from Xiu was huge. Massive, really well played from him. He's down in items, and he manages to take out Perfect in a side lane. So, ends up getting a good counter-strike, a good amount of burst with the flash. Perfect just doesn't expect it. And the thing is, he hasn't really gotten that much damage down onto him. The Maiden, you can see starting to shred, but the second rotation comes in perfect time, and he just finishes him off. Well played by Xiu, but you know, he's low, and they'd already started up the Atakan. There was so much DPS from Duckdam coming through, and now they can set up the Dragon on this side of the map. Still 4,500 gold ahead. They have the extra boost from the Atakan as well. You can see level leads across the board. Only Xiu has a level advantage on Dplus.
Little trap Renata, as Cuz is going very deep for this one, and he's going to just die. Not sure about that. As now BDD trying to get away here. Xiu, he doesn't have the flash, so he's not quite able to get in. The peel is there, and a big root comes in from Duckdom.
You guys can just go Dragon, by the way. They don't have a jungler.
Or we're just going to flash on in and fight more, because that's what we do. Duckdom is just playing like an insane person. Still has his ult, going in for the kill on a Lucid as he gets the callback and picks up the kill himself. Showmaker trying to do a bit of damage to Perfect, but they're all super low. The charm comes in, and now Xiu is just gonna die. Meanwhile, on the right side, or on the left side rather, Aiming just dying for no reason to the two of them. And KT, you could have just taken the Dragon, or DK rather. You could have just taken the objective.
Yeah, they killed the enemy jungler. KT were in no position to fight. They didn't have ult on Ahri. They could have just done the Dragon. Instead, they decided, hey, this is our time. We have to fight. And I guess maybe they thought they wouldn't get another opportunity. Now they may not. But yeah, this was just a crazy play from Cuz, way too deep. BDD now no longer has ultimate. They don't find an angle in. Mid-tier 1 is still available, by the way. So KT just retreat to the tower. And this is where you go, okay, fight's done. Guys, you both punched each other in the face. Let's stop now. We're friends again, right? And then Dplus are like, no, let's keep punching each other in the face. And KT decide they're good with that. And keep punching Dplus.
How does Aiming die on the left?
Well, he tries to go for the play with the bailout. He's like, I can kill him. Look how low they are. I can get 2 kills here. And then he doesn't get to watch.
He flashes into the brush.
Yeah, and then he thought he could go Duckdom himself.
Duckdom got so low.
I mean, it's tragic, but it's also like, guys, you could have just taken the Dragon.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, yes, you could have maybe made that happen if you played it flawlessly, or you could just take the Dragon.
But that wouldn't be very DK.
And the thing is, like, I know Kallista's not like the best scaling champion of the game, but I genuinely think with like the Renata Azir and like how the team fights function, I honestly think you're fine. Like, you're not under a pressure where you have to like, oh no, if we let this game go for another 5 minutes, it's cooked. I genuinely think like you could have just taken the Dragon, it would have been fine.
Yeah.
But you know, this is more fun, I guess.
Yeah, it's definitely a more fun viewing experience, I'd say. So our fans are really benefiting from DK's
Well, it's
play.
definitely more fun for KT fans.
Yeah.
I don't think it's more fun for Dplus fans. But, you know.
Yeah, definitely a bit tragic for them. We do have the Terminus finish.
BD picked up Rabadons. So,
he likes that item today.
he is pumping some damage.
Yeah, I mean, he's very far ahead of Showmaker in this game. 1,300, 400
game,
gold.
In last game?
Last game. Peter's going in, and he's going out. Getting knockups on the Lucid.
Shaking it all about.
Yeah. He's doing the hokey pokey all over DK right now.
Oh, she would have been in trouble.
He's gonna go in, and immediately flashed out, and now BDD finds the angle. And that's going to get a hostile takeover here. This time Cuz in a much better position. Big knockups both ways, but guess who's ahead? It's KT Rolster. And they follow up on this one too. As one by one the dominoes fall, and the charm is going to hit as well. KT might just end the game here.
Huge team fight for KT. They find the kills. Gonna take this one to a 2-0. Long death timers. No way Dplus are up in time to defend. And KT, we had a close series in the tiebreaker. This one not looking to be that way. Game one was a lot of back and forth, but this one, KT looking a lot more dominant.
Very dominant game here to KT from beginning to end, and they'll finish it off with a clean ace in the final team fights. From the red side, with a kind of wonky draft situation as well, they just make it work.